Damian was probably one of the best defensemen I think I'd ever seen play.
It's amazing to watch the speed and the things that he can do.
Watching Damian was like watching like a dancer.
And you could literally see him going through his Rolodex in his head. Which move am I going to use on this clown? And whichever move it was, it always worked.
I think they would always underestimate him. They see him, and he's not the biggest guy, but definitely big-hearted.
He wanted to be the best, and he wanted to make the team the best.
I think Dame pushed us, in a sense. He pushed us to be better.
As talented as he wasn't just playing to score goals.
Not a lot of guys can make everybody else around him better, and he was really good at making everybody around him better.
That guy doesn't panic. He never makes a bad play. He plays hockey like it's effortless.
Damian and I met back in high school. Nicest guy you'll ever meet, and we developed a quick friendship, and he quickly became part of our core group of friends. Dame, Dan, and Mike played hockey together.
I met Dame definitely before high school, played against him, and you just knew who everybody was. And it was always like, you gotta watch out for this defenseman. His brother, the twin, is a goalie, but really you're gonna get to him anyways because you can't pass Dame on defense.
In our house, everybody played hockey. For me and Dame, we were fortunate enough to play with each other 8 till 19, that's 11 years of hockey.
Putting all of our talents together on one high school team, it was almost felt like for us an all-star team.
The teams that we were putting out in the mid-90s when Paul Raggett and I were coaching, and we were just starting to peak because we had a really strong nucleus with Damian on D and Daniel and Marty and Deej.
The weirdest bunch of players. Like you could not bring a weirder group together. Like we had guys that were in their 7th year of high school. Like they were on their victory lap.
You had the guys that you were going to see on the day-to-day basis, and then you had the older crew that was guiding you to be like guidance counselors.
The hockey team was a good way for us to make friends with older guys and kind of get accepted to the whole high school experience.
We were playing against the top teams in Ontario at that point in time. When anybody always said who was going out, Damian would always be the first one over the boards and he would be taken over. We were in the York tournament and it was a battle, but we won that tournament. It's the only one we ever won. It was a big deal.
The only hockey trophy that they have here. Winning that with our group of friends, Dame, Dan, Marty, me, the whole 9 yards, it was something else.
We could truly appreciate the skill that these guys had, and I certainly really like seeing my friends play, and enjoying something that I wasn't able to partake in. Brought me a lot of joy, so I don't think I missed any games. Being the oldest of 4 kids, helping with the siblings, I was just never fortunate enough to play during my childhood. But I've always been a hockey fan, lifelong Leaf fan. My wife and I actually met at the Air Canada Centre, got married there. That passion was always there, I just needed that kickstart, and Damian was a big part of that. I remember watching him in high school and thinking he was pretty good, but I don't think I appreciated it until I stepped on the ice with him. My earliest recollection is one of the Wounded Moose tournaments. I think I was invited by our friend Matt Kelly.
Yeah, playing on the Moose was awesome. I remember getting that call.
So my first memory of the Moose was this cooler. You see this big giant moose antlers come into the room. To me, that was men's hockey. It was beer and moose antlers.
The Moose was really special though. It was almost like the mentorship. You had the younger guys and the older guys.
My name's John. I play with the Wounded Moose for close to 15 years, and I'm the goalie.
My name's Jim Yonker. I've been with the Wounded Moose for, I guess, about 22 years, 23 years. I joined the Moose 24. I was 24 years ago.
I played for the Wounded Moose for 25 years and maybe 30 years. Can't count that many years.
Wounded Moose started 50 years ago, and they started as a church league team as far as I know. It's a great camaraderie. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're the best player on the team or the worst player on the team, a bunch of good guys. We have a lot of fun. We go play in tournaments. Get into a lot of mischief. That's what it's all about.
I can tell the difference between a team that gets along well in terms of how long they stay in the locker room after the game And with the Moose, it's typically we're leaving the locker room around the end of the game after us, or maybe even later than that.
You know what, I drive almost 2 hours to get here every game, and I don't do it for the hockey. So you can fill in the blanks.
Damian was very young. Oh, fast. I think we won 2 or 3 championships, and that's how he wanted to play.
When Damian was there, we were dominant. For the level of hockey we played at, he was probably the best player that was on the ice all the time.
The secret was just get Damian the puck, and then it was all okay. As long as you got Damian the puck, nothing bad would happen that shift.
My probably fondest memory of Damian was the upper decker incident where Ox and Damian did an upper decker on, I think, JSB and Turbo.
I believe it was Matt Kelly who actually went to the front desk and lied about who he was and got the key to our room illegally.
So we go into their room and we drink all their beer. Myself and Damian upper decker these guys.
We came back to our room, Steve and I, and there was a note. And the note said, "We pooed in your toilet." And I think I called out to Steve, "We've been upper decked."
And everyone's doing like their detective work to try and figure out who did the upper decker. And Damian was like the lead detective. And I thought he was like really interested in trying to figure out who it was.
And he's just cool as a cucumber. Whoa, you guys got upper deckered? Really? Who could have done that? But that was his sense of humor. He knew he had these guys and he just kept them going. He kept them going for half an hour.
He was a lot of fun to be around, so you were happy to have him.
I met Damian November of 2009. Immediately I felt comfortable with him. He's just something likable about him right from the get-go. He had a cute goatee. It just took a few years to get him to grow into his facial hair. He presented with a lot of back pain, and everything came to a head, and it was either I need to play hockey or I need to go to the hospital. And I put my foot down and said, no, you have to go to the hospital. And he was admitted.
We were going to a tournament in Oshawa, and he was in the hospital.
Shannon called us a couple of days before and said he was in the hospital and wouldn't be playing. We went to visit Damian before our first game, and he told us to go play, and we had a tough time getting through that tournament without him.
We went and we played hard, and we went to the finals, and suddenly here comes Damian to play hockey with us.
I was trying to be nice about it, but I was terrified. I knew how sick he was.
It was pretty evident that he wasn't well. I don't think any of us really recognized how serious it was.
And he came and played, and he even scored a goal. And we won the championship, and that was the main thing.
He came out and he was a stud and helped us win. And that's just Damian. That was how much passion he had for hockey.
There is a photo of after the game, and he looked so sick, but so happy to be standing there with the Moose.
Sunday morning championship game, Damian was there. And then I think it was only a few weeks after that, if I'm not mistaken, that we learned the severity of his condition and that he had cancer, and it was pretty serious.
That was the life-altering weekend that, with or without even realizing, that changed everything.
When someone tells you, oh, this guy's sick, there's nothing that we can physically do to make him better. So my idea was, hey, why don't we get together and raise some money for him? And then some other guys, well, why don't we make it a charity hockey game?
We got the ice, and we just brought a bunch of guys who'd played with them, friends and family, and lots of people who didn't even play hockey came out that day.
It ended up being this huge event, and there were so many people, and he was so proud to be introducing me to these amazing men and their families.
There was guys from the team, the Wounded Moose. There were guys from the Whalers. There were guys that played on the Newtonbrook team. There were guys that played for the Willowdale team.
We're a family. You know, there's a reason why I drive 2 hours to play hockey, and like I said, it's not the hockey.
His brother was the goalie on the other team, and he had a hat trick in the first period.
Seeing the joy in Damian scoring on his brother made me very excited for him. I think we all were excited for that to happen.
Yeah, he had my number that day. He had my number that day.
Guys aren't touchy-feely, especially a group like this, hockey players, but you know the guys care about each other.
The highlight of that wasn't that we raised him a bunch of money. It was the first time after he was diagnosed with how sick he was that he actually got out and played.
We just had a lot of fun that day. It was one day, I guess, for that hour, we forgot about cancer. We just kind of played hockey.
We would walk around the neighborhood. Even 15 minutes into a walk, we'd come home because he'd be out of breath. Hockey was the driving force to help him walk a little bit further, getting as well as he can to maybe get back on the ice one day.
I think it was at a party or a barbecue one summer, and we were talking, and he was saying how much he missed hockey, and so I suggested to him the PHN. The PHN is one of the best run hockey leagues I've ever been a part of.
We started the league because we wanted a real safe place for guys to play. We have a draft, so it was really to kind of give guys a unique experience, which you don't get from the average men's league. When he told me he wanted to come out, the guys and I said, absolutely, like definitely come on out and just play for as long as you can or make as many of the games as you can.
These guys took care of him and let him do what he loved the most.
He cherished it and embraced it, and he dominated the PHN.
I don't know what it was like for him the first time he put on those skates, but I'm sure that was the first step in his recovery, if you will, of maybe it's not so bad.
He had a tremendous impact on me. I was top 10 in league scoring, which is unheard of. I'm a fourth line grinder at best. We had some chemistry, and by chemistry I mean I would just go to the net and he would find me, whether that was banking in and off my head, my ass, or frankly just putting it in front, letting me touch it, having it roll back to him so he could tap it in.
I don't remember the first time seeing Damian play, but I remember Kevin. To hear a story later on that, oh, I got Kevin a hat trick was just mind-blowing. Like, how good are you, you know?
So we did win, I believe, 2 championships, one of which he scored the overtime winning goal.
I won a championship with Damian, which was actually really special because I lost my mom to cancer about 2009, about 10 years ago. It speaks to the character of the person and how much he actually enjoyed the game to be able to carry on like that, knowing what he was going through.
He didn't say anything to anybody, and he just wanted it to be about the hockey.
There was weeks when he would go through his treatments and he would still play and he would probably put up a couple of points and help his team win. I think pretty much every time I get on the ice, part of me thinks about Damian. He'll always be in our hearts and on my score sheet, that's for sure.
He was a lot more than a hockey player. He was probably, best human being I knew for my time in hockey. He meant the world to me.
He knew how good he was, but didn't have to put you down to be good. Sure, he did all that other, he could take the puck and do whatever, but he was an inclusive guy.
I had my son when I was young, and he was there to support me. So he was really tight with my family. They know who Dame is.
I have a daughter, her name's Leah, L-I-A. Even though she might not remember him, she'll grow up knowing who her uncle was.
It's been great coming back to the league and being able to play hockey again. I couldn't have done this anywhere else, and appreciate each and every player in the league in keeping it safe for someone with my disabilities to enjoy the thing I missed the most. I will continue to miss it, as well as being one of the boys again after the games. I would like to thank each and every member in the PHN for their support and hope to see them all on the ice soon. Yours truly, Damian.
I've got a son who's 8, Dylan. He's been skating and playing hockey since he was 3. I just want him to have fun, develop some friendships, develop his hockey skills, and if he ends up playing in a beer league one day and is a fourth line hack like me and plays with a guy like Damian, then it'll be all worth it.